The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. Week by week, I love our royalty-free theme music for this show. More and more. Welcome. It is 12:03 on a Tuesday morning or Monday night, however you want to consider it. This is Midnight Run. I'm Anthony Alford here with you until 1 o'clock. We have a ton to get through here in this next hour. This hour is going to be a sprint. My producer is Eli Moon. You'll hear from him from time to time. You can also see him on the Main Event Conversations with Eli Moon and Inside Edge Primetime here nightly on the Inside Edge Network. Let's get right to it. And we know the matchup for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're going to face the Toronto Raptors. It's going to be at a time, they're going to kick it off Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Look, listen, let me just address this. I know from a television standpoint, it's the worst rated slot, right? But honestly, it's probably for the best to get the playoffs going, get underway, get on the floor immediately. I like the fact that you're not waiting all day for Sunday night football or basketball, whatever sport NBC's covering this week. You're not waiting all day. It's Saturday afternoon. You could walk the park or go to the gym in the morning or do your laundry in the morning, do whatever you need to do. And then voila, boom, game. Now, we'll talk tomorrow about what if you don't have Prime Video? Can you go to a commercial establishment to actually watch the game? But this matchup itself, this is very interesting. And I'll say this, and I think a lot of Cavs fans, we were mentally preparing for Cavaliers and Hawks, mentally preparing for that matchup, Cavs and Hawks. In fact, those two matchups last week, I know the Friday matchup didn't really mean much of anything because a lot of players sat across the NBA. More on that in a little bit. But Wednesday, you actually kind of saw the firepower with both teams. So we were locked in, ready to go, Cavs and Hawks. And then there was one scenario on Sunday that needed to happen. Eli read it to me like a couple of times, and I wrote it off. I'm like, ain't no way that's going to happen. And it happened. So now we have the Raptors jumping to the 5th seed. And off and running. And this is why I want to spend a few minutes here tonight talking about Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. And I'll lump in Dean Wade. I didn't put that in the rundown, but I'll lump in Dean Wade in this as well. This is I'll put it this way. A lot of people think the way that Kendrick Perkins explained on ESPN not too long ago. We could play the clip now here, Eli, that the Cavaliers, by his words, are, I got to choose my words here carefully. He said creamy in the middle. I don't feel comfortable as a man saying creamy in the middle, but he said that on national television. Play the clip.
I don't know if that's going to end up being.
But wasn't that guy supposed to be Evan Mobley? And I don't know, but the whispers around the NBA is that the Cleveland Cavaliers are soft, that they're sponsored by Hostess Cupcakes because they creamy in the middle. And I'm looking at Evan Mobley. Yes, Donovan Mitchell is the best. Donovan Mitchell is the best player, but Evan Mobley is the most important player.
I never, ever, courtesy of ESPN, I never, ever want to hear a grown man ever say creamy in the middle ever again. That is the most unhinged thing I've ever heard. You, as a grown man, you cannot say creamy in the middle. That is foul. That's nasty. Okay? That's come on now. But he's right. But he's right, unfortunately. And that's the perception that Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, they're going to have to change in these playoffs. In this matchup with Toronto especially, if you think about the Raptors without going too in-depth into the X's and O's, think about prepping for a matchup with the Detroit Pistons. A little bit more interior firepower in the paint. And, you're not going to have, crazy shooting from the outside with the Raptors. This is a matchup where Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, they're going to have to show up. They're going to have to be that established force in the paint. I'm very curious with Jarrett Allen how his knees are going to hold up here in these playoffs. I hope they do. I hope they're able to hold up here in these playoffs because you need that physicality. Evan Mobley defensively, I'm not worried about. Evan Mobley on defense has been the quarterback of this Cavs defense. He has been. We just don't talk about it because it's defense and, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but talking about defense is boring. But he has done the job defensively. But offensively, I'll tell you what he has to come through. A successful series for me against Toronto, besides winning the games and moving on. Done. A successful series. We got to talk, is us talking about after the first round, Evan Mobley is that threat in the paint. And Jarrett Allen is putting up 20, 25 points, maybe 30. Might luck out. I mean, if we're getting if we get one 40-point performance from Jarrett Allen with the other members of the core four in there, that would be incredible. But I do think there's going to be a game in this series. Not all 4, 5, or 6 games, but there will be a game in this series where Kenny Atkinson is going to demand and game plan around Jarrett Allen, feed him the basketball, and James Harden's going to do a good job of that. James Harden has been phenomenal this season in feeding Jarrett Allen the basketball in the paint. He is incredible creating plays, James Harden. There's going to be a game in this series. I think maybe a game 2, maybe a game 3 when they go to Toronto, where Jarrett Allen is going to be the scoring focal point of this series. I said earlier, again, this is crazy because the Cavaliers have had, 43 different starting lineups this year, which is nuts, crazy. I said a while back, if you're looking at the scoring pecking order of the core four, the pecking order, it's Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley's probably fitting in that fourth. But the beauty of these playoffs is you can interchange that based on the matchups, based on trends, how it's all going. And that's the beauty of this matchup. I don't believe any team, and this is what the Cavaliers are banking. If the core four, God, I hate that term so much, but that's who they are. If the core four is all delivering, all of them, who has more offensive firepower across the Eastern Conference than these four players collectively? I know the Celtics are favorites, and they deserve to be favorites to win the East. I get all that, and the Celtics have a better overall team. But what the Cavaliers are banking on is for all four elements of the core four to be greater than the competition. So if, in theory, if you have the four best players or four of the six best players on the floor, you're set. You're set. So yeah, the big guy's got to show up tomorrow on Midnight Run. We'll talk about James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. But today, I don't want to write off Evan Mobley. I think looking at Evan Mobley and saying, go out there and be Giannis. I don't know if that's something that's going to happen, but he has an opportunity to change our minds with that. But I think this is a chance where you do have to deliver. One quick fact about Toronto, and remember, myself, Eli Moon, Chad Bryant, David Reeves, we're going to have the Cavs preview show Wednesday night, 10 o'clock. The voice of the Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn, will be our special guest. I'll have the opportunity to interview him on Wednesday. You'll see that here on the Inside Edge Network. Toronto, yes, they're 3-0 against the Cavs. Pull up the injury report on all three of those games. They all happened in November, and James Harden wasn't on the team. The other quick fact about the Raptors, I was pulling up this article from The Athletic. I have it up here. Joe Vardon and Eric Kareem kind of did like a dual article here previewing their teams. Toronto against the league's worst teams, 22-6. So against teams that did not qualify for the playoffs, Toronto is 22-6. Toronto against the Western Conference top 6 teams and the Eastern Conference top 4 teams, the Raptors went 5-22. If you take out the 3 games against the Cavaliers, Toronto against the top teams in the NBA are 2-22. Quite simply, Toronto doesn't have enough firepower against top-level teams. But if you let them hang around because they know all the pressure is on Cleveland, there is no lick of pressure on Toronto. None. All the pressure is on Cleveland. So if the Raptors know, Brandon Ingram like that, they know if they could steal a game in Cleveland here, if they could steal game 1 on Saturday or game 2, we don't have a date yet for game 2. I'm going to guess game 2 is going to be on Monday night. If they could steal a game here in Cleveland, all the pressure shifts to the Cavaliers because of all the baggage. All of it's there. The other thing we got to be mindful is what Kenny Atkinson had to say. I mean, Kenny Atkinson earlier mentioned, the defensive stuff here. Let's play this 24-second clip with Kenny Atkinson. Take a look.
I thought Evan was he played with such great force tonight. When he plays with that type of force, I know it's not perfect, and but rebounding the ball, getting in the paint, getting deep in the paint, Wish he would have made that corner three because it looked good. You know, that was great. Great one more to him. But I thought he was great tonight.
Yeah, and that's what you need from Evan Mobley. You absolutely need that, just him to be great. But Kenny Atkinson, his message about defense, they got to lock in. They got to lock in. And again, we'll talk extensively about that these next couple days. And, of course, on the preview show, they got to lock that in. I do want to quickly shift focus as we are heading into the NBA playoffs. Of course, the play-in tournament is tomorrow, starts tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday. And then the first round of the playoffs. And I'll be honest, I hate the play-in tournament. The Cavs, I hate the play-in tournament. I just hate it. I understand though it makes money. I'm not advocating for the league to get rid of it. But I just hate it. The regular season is over. Did you like what you saw? Did you like the NBA regular season? Now, let me get this out of the way. For all the doom and gloom that the NBA, that people talk about, you know, with the NBA, especially certain people who that are anti-NBA for political reasons. We know who they are. The NBA playoffs are going to be spectacular. And the reason why is because most of these teams have 82 games to rest up and be ready to go. But you're going to see the top athletes. You're going to see top matchups go at it. I can't wait to talk about some of the other matchups, particularly in the Western Conference, how those games are going to play out, how those series are going to turn out. And, you know, we'll see how it all plays out. But the playoffs are going to be very interesting. But the regular season, you know, baseball admitted years ago, hey, we got a bit of a problem. You know, less people are going to games or less people are watching games. The attention span is not there, right? I'm a 34-year-old millennial. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm locked in and focused all the time. If the baseball game is dragging, I'm not paying attention. So the pitch clock is probably one of the best things that has ever happened for me because I'm locked in, sitting there watching the game, and guess what? You got to be there. Eli and I have gone to games. It's like, oh, we got to go to the concession stand. Guess what? You go to the concession stand in today's baseball, you're going to probably miss a couple innings. I think that's a good problem because the game is moving along, and I like that. Basketball has to do something a little bit drastic, a little bit. Now, the idea that I proposed a couple weeks ago was the 72 game idea. You would still play an 82 game regular season schedule, but after 72 games, teams that are not in play-in contention or playoff contention, your season ends. It's over. That's it. Upon expressing that idea to various others, I do understand, okay, maybe the CBA may not like the idea of teams taking less revenue. I get that. I understand that. And I wish I could just say, well, play better. And then, play better. All right. My revision to that idea. Okay, fine. After 72 games, the teams that are not in the play-in or playoff contention, okay, fine. You can still play. But you're only going to have games against yourselves. And that's it. I'm also, with the draft lottery, everyone gets one ball. That's it. You're in that draft lottery, you get one ball. Good luck playing out the string. So if the Wizards want to drop 15 of their last 16 games, they got to do it against Utah every night. That's fine. I won't pay attention to that. I want to see our teams that are in playoff contention, that are in play-in contention, teams like Orlando that needs something, teams like Toronto that needs something, all these other teams I want them to be competing in the final 10 games, that push for the playoffs. Make it matter. Make it worth something. Do something in place with that. It seems right now that the NBA, because of all the star players that's sitting, it seems like the games are optional. And that's something that you got to tinker around. I am fully in support of the 65-game minimum rule. Fully in support. In fact, if I was the commissioner, I'm upping it to 70. I would up it to 70. If you're not around for, oh, hell, make people laugh. 69. 69. There you go. That's your number. Everybody can remember 69. 69 games. I'm upping it to 69 games. You got to play in order to win awards. So that way, somebody like Shaq, who says, oh, back in my day, everybody played all 82 games. Even though Shaq never played in all 82 games, he was always hurt. So that wasn't true at all. You know, like, get the hell out of here. More on Shaq later in the show. Not happy with him right now. So those are some things I would do. I would think a little bit more time doesn't allow us to for me to get into the, if you need rule changes, but you really need more penalties for bad teams dragging the product down. That's really what it is. The low management, the sitting, we can fix that. I can't deal with having bad teams pollute the product. And that's what's been happening with the NBA. So that's why the NBA playoffs are going to be fantastic, because now you got Utah and all these other teams out of it. One little play-in story to monitor. Eli, when does Golden State play? Do they play tomorrow or Wednesday? I apologize for not looking this up. The reason why I'm keeping an eye on Golden State, I have a feeling, okay, tomorrow. Thank you, Eli. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock. I have a feeling Golden State is going to get demolished tomorrow, and they're going to tank their way to the draft lottery. A team like Golden State sees that there's more potential building a team than participating in the NBA playoffs. Like their top stars like Curry and others, you know, Steve Kerr's not going to play them maximum minutes in the play-in to make the playoffs. So keep an eye on Golden State. Golden State could be a part of this tanking issue, just like the rest of these bad teams. So we'll have to see. Boy, was today an ice cream day or what? About 80-something degrees. Pretty warm. It really got up there. It was a perfect day to go to B.A. Sweeties. Perfect day to go to B.A. Sweeties and get the custom-made ice creams and milkshakes and stuff. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Look at that. It's tasty. Look at that. Just, if we had smell-o-vision, boom, it's there. B.A. Sweeties. You just walk right in. You get a bunch of great candy and treats and stuff. And why not, right? We got the NBA playoffs coming up. We got WrestleMania coming up. You got the NFL draft coming up. We got a ton of great events coming up here in these next few weeks. Not even to include Guardians baseball every single night. All sorts of things. And on top of that, I think you want some popcorn while you're listening and watching the Inside Edge Network, watching Inside Edge Primetime, watching Midnight Run, watching our other great programs. You probably want some snacks. B.A. Sweeties has you covered. B.A. Sweeties, Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit, make a left on Brook Park Road. Typically, the giant lollipop is up, but the weather said F that. But you'll see the B.A. Sweeties entrance. Go on inside. Kids enjoy it, and you're going to feel like a kid when you walk into B.A. Sweeties, no matter what age you are. You're going to enjoy it from the candies to the ice cream, and soon the putt-putt. B.A. Sweeties has you all covered again. Interstate 40, the Ridge Road exit, make a left on Brook Park Road. Remember to use the in-store promo code LOLLIPOP. Lollipop is the in-store only promotion. If your cart is worth $40 or more, you get $5 off of your total order. That is worth a ton. $5 off your total order if your cart is worth $40 or more. Mention the word Lollipop. Let them know. Midnight Run, Anthony Alford, Inside Edge Network, Silence Wrestling Podcast. Let them know you heard this ad and you came to BA Sweeties for the first time and maybe a lot of other times. All right. Take a break, come back. We got more show. Myles Garrett and Giannis, they're the same person. They're exactly the same. I'll explain when we come back on Midnight Run.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Welcome back to the show. Here with you until 1. Later in the show, Inside the NBA had this couple from Indiana on the show, and Shaq did something that really, really pissed me off, and it really bothered me. We'll play the clip for you coming up later in the show. And also, as you can see, it is WrestleMania week, but coming up here in a little bit, and some of y'all ain't feeling it. I get it. I understand. Time permitting, we'll talk about that either today or tomorrow right here. So we'll kind of get the lay of the land with what's going on there. I want to remind you guys, as it is spring, you got to get AlleyRoseFragrances.com. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. You got to get that and make it happen. What's cool about Alley Rose Fragrances, the candles last. I have to order my new candles, but the lemon bar candle that I ordered lasted over 3 weeks. It's incredible. High quality. And I've talked about this before. If you're new, here's what's great about the candle. The competition, the way the candles are set up, it's like this, you get the stick and then the wax, and it only burns the middle of the candle. You can't use the other part of the candle, of the wax. It's gone. That's it. And that candle's done in like 2 or 3 days, and you spent a ton of money for that. Like, it's nuts. But here, you get quality candles at a great price, and it lasts. I mean, my apartment has smelled amazing. Amazing. And then in the new spring collection is there. Again, the lemon bar candles, the soft bloom candles, also part of there. You see it right there. The soft bloom is there as well with the candles. They're fantastic. They're great. In fact, I'm going to order the soft bloom next. I'll give you a good review. But the lemon bar one is fantastic. So you got to get that. If you're a first-time and I also didn't mention, too, I'll click it on my end. Look at this. Those are the body mists. We always talk, like, you get body mist and stuff. That's the body mist there. So if you have a significant other, want a gift for, your mom or your sister or, grandma, whoever it may be, boom, there you go right there. Look at that. you got a significant other, you ain't got no excuse but to get this body mist. You want to smell good. Always want to be fresh. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Remember to use the promo code InsideEdge20 for first-time customers only. InsideEdge20 for first-time customers. And the beauty is that promo code is interesting, too, because it's not just, oh, can I only grab one item? No. Load up your cart. Get stuff. Use that promo code InsideEdge20. The entire order, 20% off. The entire order. So stack it up, and you'll be set. InsideEdge20 for first-time customers only. So after you use it, have your significant other use it and stuff. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. All right. Eli has informed me we do have the Giannis clip. He worked very hard behind the scenes. That's why you saw some of the screen stuff in the background. But that's StreamYard. I mean, we can't do anything else. So as long as we stayed on the air, Eli did his job. All right. Eli, come on the screen for a second here, because this actually was the clip that you brought to the table with myself and Chad on primetime. Set this up for us, please.
Yeah, it caught me by surprise. You know, this was on NBA Today. Shams Charania, Danny Green, former Cavalier legend, Kendrick Perkins, Cavalier player, former Cavalier player. I don't know. I love Danny Green, man.
Creamy in the middle. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was. My reaction to that is my reaction to everybody saw when I was trying to get the clip loaded in from earlier today. It was like, what did you just say? But yeah, I appreciate the patience, everybody. Back to the clip. Shams, Kendrick Perkins, Danny Green. They're talking about the Giannis quote. We'll hear it here in a moment. About if the Bucks would want him back, and they talked about how Giannis. It seems like he's just kind of downplaying how much power he has. He's a superstar. He's an NBA champion, NBA MVP, multi-time MVP, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he has a lot of power. Usually those guys have a lot of say-so, and he's never really flexed it because he's not had to. The Bucks won with a homegrown talent, you know, him, Chris Middleton, these guys. But since then, I talked about it on primetime, they moved on from Chris Middleton. They moved on from Damian Lillard, who they tried experimenting with, and I don't know. It just seems a little fishy that, you know, they're playing past the buck, for a lack of better terms. What we were saying on primetime AA. It's like, oh, it's them. It's you. It's no, it's just both of us. No, it's neither. I don't get it.
So pay attention to this clip again, courtesy of ESPN. And as you are watching Milwaukee talk about Giannis, I guess as a Cavs fan, I guess that part we got to pay attention to just in case. But if you're a Browns fan, pay attention because, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks, partly owned by Eli?
Jimmy Haslam.
And as you are listening to a little bit of this discussion, we're not going to play the entire clip, but as you listen to a little bit of this discussion from ESPN, as they talk about Giannis, think of somebody who plays for the Cleveland Browns, kind of that mindset. Think of some dude named Myles Garrett. See if there's a correlation. Take a look.
Shams, you alluded to this. The Giannis conversation's picking up. He hasn't played since March 15th, but spoke to reporters on Sunday. When asked if he's played his last game in a Bucks uniform, Giannis said, quote, "That's a very good question. I don't know. It's not up to me. We'll see." Went on to say, "I didn't think we were going to be in this position last year, so I don't know what position we're going to be next year. If everything goes well, hopefully the Bucks want me here. Why not? But if they don't, okay." Danny, what's your first reaction?
This is absurd. I mean, at this point, I think he's trolling us. I think he likes to mess
100%.
with the media. I think he likes to mess with the organization, you know, whoever's in the locker. I don't know, but he's just bored maybe. But we know he has more control over than what he says. He has more idea of what's going on and what he wants to do. And when you're a star player, which you should have that type of leverage and power, you have a lot of say-so on what happens. So you just need to come out and say it.
Charles, let me ask you a question. So Doc and the Bucks parted ways, but they still might have a role for Doc. So that it got me speculating because Doc is not going to waste his time, right? He's not going to waste his time on the rebuild.
Yeah.
To me, this is showing all signs that Giannis is going to be moved this offseason and going in a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, behind the scenes, everyone's been very clear. Like Giannis, his camp, the Bucks have known since last May that he felt like it was time to part ways, that it was time to move on, that the time had come. And the Bucks, we saw at the deadline, they engaged in conversations with multiple teams. They negotiated with multiple teams. And so that's where we were in February. So now when we look into the offseason, I think everyone in the NBA understand where everything is going, where everything is at now with these two sides. And I think coming to the May draft combine, that's where a lot of these conversations will start to pick up. He wants to compete for a championship. Doc Rivers was quoted the other day saying this team doesn't have the players to do so. So that tells you everything you need to know.
Yep.
It's courtesy of ESPN. Good discussion there. NBA Today. Come on now. Come on. Now, I'm not – what's going on in Milwaukee? Doc Rivers sucked. Okay, cool. Giannis talking about, oh, no, I don't, like, shut the hell up. It's your team. You know what you're doing. Just like Myles. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we should keep Kevin Stefanski or not. I don't know. Maybe I should be traded. I want to compete for a championship. Oh, you're paying me. Okay, I guess I'm a Clevelander. Kind of like Giannis. I have to give Jimmy Haslam and the Haslams a little bit of credit here. Unbeknownst to us, they do something with top stars to keep them around. They even when you want out, they do something to keep them in. Myles and Giannis are exactly the same. The only difference was Giannis was able to win an NBA championship. But in 2020, Myles Garrett was right there. In 2020, if we were able to stop the Chiefs' backup quarterback, we would have went to the AFC Championship. I believe we would have beat the Bills in the AFC Championship that year. It was Josh Allen, but it wasn't the Josh Allen that we know now. So that would have been a year we would have beat the Bills. Probably would have got smoked by Tom Brady and the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, but it's Cleveland. We would have been happy just to be there. It's no different. It's no different. Two franchise guys who are extremely passive-aggressive talking about, I don't know. You know exactly what you want. That's why this whole, Myles Garrett is not going to voluntary workouts. I know we got to fill time on the airwaves, but it's a laughable story. He's never attended those. Both players want to compete for a winner. They do. I give them that. And both players, I'm not placing entire blame on these players. Both players have had to put up with a ton of BS to do this. A ton of BS. And both Myles and Giannis should be applauded for their loyalty towards the city that they're playing in. They should. They should. As much as we complain about Myles Garrett here in Cleveland, in the coverage of Myles Garrett did ball out this past season. He did break the single-season sack record. It wasn't like he just took the money and sucked. Like, he performed. He statistically had one of the greatest seasons in defensive end history. That is nothing to sleep at. Giannis, same deal. Giannis has consistently performed at MVP-like levels, but for bad organizations. And I know I don't want to penalize both of these guys for being good guys that for once is probably taking advantage of a system that has robbed them of their prime years. Yes, it's a pipe dream if Giannis is going to end up with a contender next season. I know Cleveland fans, perhaps if things turn out a certain way, Cleveland could be a target. Obviously, the Knicks are a target and stuff. But would you be at all surprised if at the 11th hour, Giannis says, hey, I'm going to stay in Milwaukee long term. I'm locked in at the 11th hour. Isn't that what happened with Myles Garrett? 11th hour. I'm locked in. I'm good. Oh, you're going to pay me. Okay, I'm a Clevelander. I love Cleveland. Same deal. That whole clip was BS. But Giannis has complete power. Neither guy wants to accept blame for a dismissal. They're both good guys on the outside. Again, we don't know them personally. And that's what was tricky about the Diana Rossini story and all the other stuff. We're not going to have time to get into the Diana story, but there was a clip of how the. But actually, I might put it in during a commercial. There was a clip of how other women reacted to like the interlocking between her and Mike Vrabel. That's just like, whoa, what are we? I might put it in at the end of the show, but yeah, both guys don't want to take blame. I watch Giannis. I watch the situation that's going on there, and I'm like, boom, it's just like Myles, to a T. And they get a good coach in Doc Rivers, but Doc Rivers failed to adapt, and it just did not work out. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to. All right. So there was a couple that was on. They're from Indiana. They was at the Pacers game the other day. And there was a kind of a little crazy discussion and stuff. I'll load that clip in when we come back. So you'll see why they were on. FanDuel had it out of Indiana. So you'll see why they were on. And then they were invited to TNT or ESPN or whatever network they're on now, inside the NBA. And fun interview and stuff. And then Shaq ruined it. And I don't know why, but what he did, to be brutally honest, really triggered me. And we'll talk about that coming up on the other side of the break. Also, time permitting, I'll either do the Diana Rossini thing or the WrestleMania vibe check. One of the two. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. All I know is when 1 o'clock hits, the show is over. Eli Moose, my producer. I'm Anthony Alford. This is Midnight Run here on the Inside Edge Network. Back after this.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Welcome back to the show. I want to make a quick reminder, quick note. This is the final week for the 2026 Music Mentors program. The Music Mentors scholarship raffle for Mentor High School here locally, here in Northeast Ohio. And this is a treat. First off, go to that website, go.rallyup.com/Music Mentors 2026. You're going to get a ton of great pride. I'm sorry, it's 80-something degrees here in the middle. I know it's April now. It's actually a good feeling. When we started the show, it was 10 degrees. So I'll take this over when we started. All right, back to the promo. Mentor High School, their band is fantastic. A lot of great prizes that you can win. And 100% of the donations is going to go to the Mentor High School marching band. Our operations director, the man who runs all of this here at the Inside Edge Network, Peter Tulloch, his sons, of course, have a close relationship with his son, Jacob. And then he has another son, Joe, who is in marching band right now. And fine arts. I mean, you heard Eli talk about it. I was in the band for a lot of years, like contributing to those fine arts programs. You have an opportunity to do something special. And if nothing else, you can win cool prizes. So go to that website, go.rallyup.com/musicmentors2026. And if you say to yourself, oh man, I like what AA had to mention about the Music Mentors program or about BA Sweeties or any of our partners. And what's the website? Where do I have to go? And we're 5 or 10 minutes removed from the sponsor read. The QR code has all of this stuff for you. You go to that QR code, scan it takes you right to our partners page on the Inside Edge Network website. It is all there. Okay, we got to talk about this story here. Anthony Alford back with you here until 1 o'clock. Here on the East Coast, I guess at 9:47, I guess you could still grab dinner, but it'll be late. Okay, so you ever go to an NBA game or go to a sporting event and you're caught on camera? Well, thankfully, there was another story we could have done. We're not going to do it. I think it happened in Atlanta Chicago. Chicago, a fan went to catch a foul ball and all of his behind was shown in front of the entire crowd trying to get a ball. I care about you guys, the fans, so we do not have that clip to show that to you guys. What we do have, however, we'll set it up here in 2 parts. So Eli, I just put this clip in. So this is from FanDuel. The quality's not the greatest, but this is a little bit of the setup. FanDuel, Indiana. This couple made national television. Take a look. All right, that was courtesy of FanDuel and whichever family shot that video. That was there. So, Eli, I'm going to have you shotgun with me with this segment here because we kind of have to ping pong a few things here. So, Eli, we've been on, with other women. Wording matters.
It's unhinged, but not that unhinged, folks.
Yeah. Wording matters. We're talk show hosts.
Yeah.
We get into tangents. You feel like, man, I'm getting into it and stuff. You don't realize, like, when a camera picks up, you're in mid-spiel. It's just like, you just want to be like, in your mind, like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, there's always that moment where you're like, and I'm bad about it. I'll be like, sorry, did I just talk too much there? And it's like, I feel myself talking too much. So, yeah, I mean, luckily it seems like, from what we've gathered thus far, they're happy together, maybe. She definitely said, what the bleep are you talking about?
Yes, she did.
She definitely told him, like, what are you talking about? And who knows? Maybe they were having a few drinks and just vibing out. And, who knows, AA? All I know is that probably would have been a tough ride home after finding out you were on national television in that conversation. Anything else? You guys could have been like, cuddling or like, snuggling around at the game. No, that's.
But you know what? It looks like that couple, without us knowing them, it looks like that couple. That's chemistry. You do see the chemistry there. It's like, okay, like you're in the zone. That's the you're out together and the basketball game's kind of in the way.
And she may have been annoyed because they're Jazz fans, and he may have been trying to pitch to her the idea that the Jazz have a strong contention for 2026-27, that this year is all for next year. So maybe she was just sick of him and sick of him trying to pitch this Jazz. She's like, why am I having to wear Jazz stuff all the time? They suck.
Sure. And then they also said, trust Andrew Barry with our drafting process. So, sorry, Chad, I had to. Okay. So this clip was picked up. They're invited to they're booked for Inside the NBA. And the guy explained like, oh, we were talking about liberal arts and, fine art, college stuff. Okay.
Yeah. We went to broadcast. Oh, you went to college. I went to broadcasting school.
Yeah, no. This ain't broadcasting school stuff. This is like high. This is beyond me. This is learning. No, I went to university just to get a degree. They're going for like liberal arts and some crap. Anywho, and believe me, we're both paying a ton of money for either liberal arts or journalism. Okay. Interview's going fine. And during the interview, I don't think Shaq really prepared for this interview because he kept referring to them, or, to the woman, Grace. It's like, your wife. And then eventually they were corrected. And I think, Eli, this is where the clip picks up here. Yep. So let's play it courtesy of ESPN, Turner Sports, True TV, NBA TV, Rich Eisen. Here we go.
I'll tell you what, if you ask her to marry you right now, I'll buy the engagement ring.
Ooh. Listen.
No, ain't no listen, do it right now. Do it right now. Get on your knee right now. I'll buy the ring. I'll send you the
Look into the camera when you do that. Look at her face, man.
If you guys agreed to come to the wedding, we'll do that.
I'll come to the wedding.
No, you can't. Well, we got to tell us when the wedding is first before we can do that.
Ask her right now. Go ahead.
I didn't agree to this.
But you can say.
I know Inside the NBA is fun and stuff, and this has nothing to do with the rest of the analysis of that show. That has pissed me off the entire day. I almost left the show with that above Caps playoffs. That's how much this has pissed me off. Every man plans out how their engagement, how the proposal's going to go. No offense, the engagement, the proposal is our Super Bowl. That's our Super Bowl. Whether the relationship works out or not, that is our Super Bowl. We spend time on how this is going to go. If you got to have it all aligned. And on top of that, for women dream of how they want that proposal to go, how they want their dream man to propose to them. So you think for one second, I have this guy saying, propose right now. Get the hell out of here. Hell out of here.
It was a bad look. And I've never been into I've never got that far, I guess, with a woman to propose, but it just made me cringe. It's like, dude, this is supposed to be like one of his shining moments for this guy. If, him and this girl do work out, and, it doesn't, I don't know, in my opinion, it doesn't seem like she's a keeper, but that's just a story for a different day. I mean, she don't seem like she's a keeper.
I that part too, yes.
but that's for him to figure out and for him to propose and go through the whole thing himself, not for Shaquille O'Neal to peer pressure him into proposing, and now they're negotiating about them coming to the wedding. It's like, do you want to be known as the NBA fans that propose on Inside the NBA? I mean, I just think there's a better way to do it. I agree with you, Double A. There's like a class with that,
because at that point, you do it right, then it's not your moment anymore.
No, it's going to be an Inside the NBA highlight. Yeah, it's going to be an Inside the NBA highlight for the next 10 to 15 years or however long they continue to do the show. Remember when we did this and had the first ever, and who's to say that they don't have the wedding at the studio of Inside the NBA if that's the case? So it could have been a lot worse. I just think, and in the end, like I said, the girl being like, I didn't agree to this. Oh, we know, honey. We saw the first clip. So
yeah, I think because I'll tell you, being at that stage, and obviously, the relationship didn't work out, but being at that stage, getting to that point, I spent almost a year planning how that was going to go. And when is the right time to propose? When is the right moment to do it? Should we do it this way? Who do you get involved with this? And again, we don't know. We barely know this couple at all. This couple they might have only been together for 3 months.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, you're 3 months in, and boom, a life-changing decision. And I get it. From Shaq's mind, it's like, well, I'll pay for the engagement ring. And sure, that would be cool, but that's very triggering to me. It just is. It's just like, dude. And then the woman replied the next day that Shaq came across as a creepy uncle and stuff, which I'm like, that's interesting. I'm not saying that that language is a bit strong, but yeah, just I don't know. There are certain things that happen that are like,
Yeah.
And
I feel you, pal.
And that was it right there, man. So I don't know. That's just a moment that but the way that she looked at him.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That guy's got a lot of questions to answer, and it's not just. I mean, the first one was why did we agree to have Shaquille O'Neal peer pressure us on TV? But the other thing is she a keeper? But that is not. Look, I'm not the love doctor. I'm the golden child, so I'll stick to what I know. All right.
I don't know nothing about love. No, that is so crazy in 2026 how we treat time and what we do with time and stuff. Like, okay, do you got to keep yourself busy? Which I think you kind of have to in certain ways. I think, like, for me personally, okay, I work from home. So I kind of, on weekends, don't like being at home.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. It's just, I'm all about motion and like staying moving. It's like Bruce Lee says, you gotta be like water, Double A. So I think that's why I like moving. I talked about in prime time. I went for a mile walk today at the Metro Parks. Did a whole lap.
Oh yes, yeah, and like I guess you kind of need those moments.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I only have Netflix because of wrestling.
Yeah. I get it. We Papa Moon and I were looking at how many freaking TV subscriptions and channel subscriptions we have for Amazon Prime and this and that and this and that. I mean, my goodness, there might be some cuts coming here soon. We might look like the WWE and make some cuts. Bad joke, I know. All right, I'm out.
No. That's an appropriate joke. We're out of time. We were gonna get into the Diana Rossetti, the locking of the fingers. Speaking of relationships. That was the one part of the whole Diana Rossetti. Like, you can't be locking your fingers with a football head coach, man. You can't do that. I did see a photo. Somebody said, hold up real quick. Sorry, we're going to run 2 seconds over. I saved it on my page. I got to pull it up. If this was a talk show, what would you name this show? I'm going to briefly pull it up right now if I have it. Hold up. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, it went in that folder. Sometimes it goes to the wrong folder. Come on. This is what happens when you do things on the fly. Here it is. It's going to load up here. And I think this particular show would actually be a banger. Maybe bad choice of words. Here's the show. Here it is. What would you name this show? What would you name it? Eli, what would you name this show? Eli doesn't want to come on the camera now. That's a first.
I would name this show "Go to Bed, AA Anthony Alford." We'll see you tomorrow.
Somebody said hot takes or hot cakes. All right, good night, everybody. We got more Inside Edge. They're all trusted Inside Edge program. Let me look at some of the comments. I have to. It's 1 a.m. Some of the comments they said here, around the horny, undisputed affairs, inside scoop. Hey, fitting with our brand. X's and O's sports show. Bros and okay, we're done. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.